Silver Dave here. Many of you stack, and many of you buy and sell your gold and silver from local coin shops. But have you ever wondered, could you sell your gold or silver to a bank? Well, let's find out. In my experience, local coin shops are the most common place for a lot of stackers to go buy and sell their gold and silver. However, I live in a country where you can actually sell gold and silver to the bank. And I wanted to show you what they actually buy. And I'll be doing different banks over a period of time. Today, I'm going to show you a bank, and they do buy a lot of different types of gold and silver. They're called Raiffeisen. And this is their physical metal chart that they have on their website of what's the buy price, and what's the sell price, right? And as you can see in their Edelmetall physisch, so physical metals, they buy from 1 gram gold to 2 grams, 2.5, 5 grams, 10 grams, 1 ounce rounds or bars, 50 grams, 100 grams, 250 grams, 500 grams, 100 grams, 1,000 grams, platinum 1,000 grams, and palladium 1,000 grams in bar form. What's also interesting is they also buy coins. So they have a coin stock. They buy 10 Swiss franc coins. They buy 20 Swiss franc gold coins, so 90% gold. They buy the Krugerrand, and that's a bullion coin. They buy the Canadian maple leaf, bullion, Australian nugget, American eagle, the Chinese panda, and interestingly also the 20 Swiss franc. I believe this is the 20 Swiss franc, the 20 French franc Napoleon. And finally, they also buy sovereigns. They buy and sell sovereigns. And they have public prices for how much they are buying and selling, and what is the exchange price for all these different metals. This is very interesting because this is pretty much when you go to a bank and they're actually trading physical metals, there's you can see that the premiums are somewhat lower than a lot of places. I've seen online places where they're asking for ridiculous amounts of premium for example, these type of coins, right? But specifically the 20 Swiss franc coins, I've seen a lot of places sell them at a very, very, very high premium. But it's interesting when you have this type of pricing, you're aware that actually these coins, they're not just something you can go to. They're not just sort of a collectible or gold in a form that only local small-time dealers accept. But major banks across the world potentially could also accept them. And it is, I find it funny, it's more like a proof of concept that, you know, we tend to forget that at one point all of the banks accepted this. Today, a few banks still accept bullion coins and they trade bullion coins. I am aware that not all American banks accept bullion. But I wanted to show something that's really interesting, is that gold is universally accepted across, like all types of gold is universally accepted. If you look at the type of the gold they buy the bars of every type of unit all the way to 1 kilo. And of course you have a 2 kilo, 5 kilo bar, I think they'll also buy it. And they buy pretty much almost every single type of coin there is, the main types of gold coins for individual investors. But one thing I've realized while looking at all of these physical metal lists across multiple different banks is that silver bullion is not yet included. And I'm going to elaborate a little bit why. I think silver bullion, at least, is not yet included. It potentially could become included. I believe the last time I checked, some of these bullion coins Like they were not included. The friendly twin Swiss franc it's a Swiss thing. It's going to be there. But the other bullion coins, it's relatively recent, a lot of them. But silver bullion, will there be a point when you can take your silver coin and trade it for money at the bank? I think that's possible. I think it is possible in the near future that silver will be tradable at banks. But there is a big but. It will depend on the price of silver. I think that a lot of banks do accept these coins because they are above $100 or close to the $100 mark. I think for silver bullion to be accepted as a investable commodity, it will have to reach the $100 silver per ounce to be accepted. Why do I think banks want that? Because it's a simple question of storage. If banks have to store a lot of silver in high value numbers and they have to take up coins, it's going to take up space. It's going to be a pain in the ass. You have to count them individually. A 1 kilo bar it's relatively easy to store. If you break it into coins and then you have stacks of coins, you need your monster boxes. It could be kind of a bit of a pain, especially if people come in and they trade such low volumes. You know, if they come in and they're trading like $30, $40, the bank isn't interested. The business volume is too small. But if silver does become a much bigger market and silver bullion, silver prices go up to the point where they're around maybe around $50, maybe between $50 and $100, is when possibly some banks might start adopting silver bullion as part of the coins they buy, which is an interesting thing to think about. Because at that point, that will be a signal that silver has reached global acceptance as a currency. Silver is a currency, but it is not yet a reserve currency, because the real difference between gold and silver is that there's something called the International Bank of Settlements. And that is a bank that agrees on how countries pay their deficits towards one another, right? And amongst the way you can pay up your debts as a country to another country is one of the reserve currencies is the US dollar. Another one is the euro. I believe the pound was in there. The Japanese yen. And then there's a Chinese RMB, which was added to the basket recently. And then finally, there's one currency that is in there. And it's been there for a long time. It was put in there after, I believe, the Second World War. And that currency is gold. So gold is formally one of the currencies that countries can use to settle their trade deficits. And that's a very important fact. That's why you see central banks, they will have gold reserves, because they know that it is one of the standard currencies that is accepted by another currency in case you have to pay something up. Why don't they stack silver? Because there's no rules on silver, how it should be accepted, who should accept it, is it a standard, right? There is a market ticker, there is an ISO number for silver, but silver is not codified in the international standards and has been agreed upon by everybody to be accepted as a currency, even though within the minds of most people in all of those countries, if you tell them that you're paying them in silver, most likely it will be accepted. So I would say that it is widespread acceptance, but it is informal acceptance. It had historical acceptance at a certain point in time, but that historical acceptance has gone past. They've moved off the silver standard. They replaced it with a gold standard, and gold has survived to this day. Do I think they'll ever bring back the silver standard? Possibly, if silver in the free market starts climbing up in its dollar value, or if the dollar is devalued too much, silver might come in as another currency that people would accept in exchange for a settlement of debt, as long as they believe a few countries will accept it. So it's possible. It's very possible. So today I want to show you guys that yes, you can buy, you can sell your coins at banks. Exist. There are places in the world, in not in some like random place, but in Switzerland, you can buy and sell coins, and not just like bank bars or good for delivery bars. Very important. You can sell your own bullion coins and buy bullion coins at a bank. So that's something to keep in mind. If banks in one country accept it, there's no reason why banks in other countries could or should not be able to accept it, right? Unless they make some rule and there's some lobbying going on, but overall, they can. If you like the content, if you want me to do more sort of presentations of what banks in Switzerland buy as coins and what they list as coins they buy, let me know in the comments. I'll be happy to look around and do some research and see what other banks are buying if they have the information publicly available. And hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Thank you very much for watching. You guys are great. Silver Dave out.